Oma and Irene grew up in a household where emotions were tightly controlled and rules were strictly enforced. Their parents, Mr. and Mrs. Okoli, believed that discipline was the cornerstone of success. While other children enjoyed moments of carefree laughter, the Okoli sisters were busy memorizing multiplication tables or reciting verses from the Bible. Oma, the elder sister, was the quintessential firstborn, responsible, obedient, and a high achiever. Irene, on the other hand, was the firecracker. She questioned rules, sought adventures, and longed for freedom. Their differences were a recipe for tension. When Irene was 12, she accidentally broke one of their mother's prized vases while playing indoors. Oma, ever the rule follower, didn't hesitate to report her to their parents. The punishment was swift and harsh, and from that day on, Irene labeled Oma as a snitch, further straining their already fragile bond. By the time Irene left for university, their relationship was a shell of what it could have been. They spoke occasionally, exchanging polite updates but never delving into their personal lives. Years later, during a semester break, Irene decided to spend the holidays with Oma, who now lived in a cozy apartment in Lagos. Irene hadn't seen her sister in months and thought the visit might be a chance to reconnect. "Welcome, little sis," Oma greeted her at the door. "You look lively as always. And you look like you've been buried in work," Irene teased, eyeing Oma's conservative office attire. Their banter was cordial but lacked warmth. Over dinner, Oma mentioned her boyfriend, David. "He's been a rock these past years," she said, her face lighting up for the first time that evening. "That's nice," Irene replied absent-mindedly, more focused on her phone than the conversation. Their estrangement meant that such details didn't stick, and Irene didn't even ask to see a picture of the man Oma spoke so highly of. A few days later, Irene went grocery shopping. She was busy scrolling through her shopping list when she reached for the last loaf of bread on the shelf, only to find someone else's hand there too. "Oh, sorry," she said, glancing up to see a tall, handsome man with kind eyes. "No, please, you take it," he insisted. "I can't." "I insist you have it," she replied, laughing. Their playful argument attracted amused glances from other shoppers. Finally, David broke the stalemate by tearing the loaf in half. "Compromise," he said with a grin, handing her one half. Their laughter echoed through the aisle, and they continued talking as they walked to the checkout. They discovered a shared love for classic Nigerian literature and a mutual disdain for traffic in Lagos. "Well, I guess this is goodbye," Irene said as they exited the store. "Until fate decides otherwise," David replied, his smile lingering as they parted ways. A week later, Irene was waiting for a cab when a familiar car pulled up beside her. "Need a ride?" David asked, rolling down the window. "David," she exclaimed, surprised. "What are you doing here?" "Rescuing stranded damsels, apparently," he joked. The car ride was filled with laughter and easy conversation. By the time he dropped her off, their connection had deepened. This time, David didn't let her go without exchanging numbers. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of late-night phone calls, lunch dates, and endless conversations. David admired Irene's free spirit and zest for life, while she found solace in his calm, mature demeanor. One evening, as they sat at a cafe, David opened up. "Irene, there's something I need to tell you," he began. "Go on," she said, sipping her drink. "I'm in a relationship. It's been 6 years." Irene froze, the words sinking in. "Then what are we doing, David?" "I don't know," he admitted. "But what I feel for you, it's like nothing I've ever felt before. I'm starting to question everything." Her heart waged war with her conscience. She knew this was wrong, yet the pull toward him was undeniable. Against her better judgment, she continued seeing him. David had never visited Oma's apartment, and Irene was careful to keep her worlds separate. But one fateful day, Oma decided to surprise David at his place. The moment she opened the door, her world shattered. "Irene?" Oma's voice was a mix of shock and fury. "What are you doing here?" Irene stammered, equally stunned. "What am I doing here? What are you doing here, with my boyfriend?" David stood frozen, caught in the storm of emotions. Oma stormed out, tears streaming down her face. Oma immediately called their parents, demanding that Irene leave her house. The revelation left everyone stunned. Irene, overwhelmed with guilt, decides to approach Oma. "Oma, I know this might mean nothing to you right now, but I honestly didn't know David was your man when we met," she begins, her voice trembling. "What I feel for him is real, and I never meant to hurt you. Please believe me." Oma listens in silence, her eyes filled with pain. "You didn't know, but now you do," she replies coldly. "And yet, you stayed with him. That's what hurts the most." Despite Irene's apologies, Oma is unable to move past the betrayal. She decides to cut ties with both of them and relocates to another city, determined to rebuild her life far from the memories of David and Irene. Years pass. Irene and David get married and build a happy life together, though Irene often wonders if her sister will ever forgive her. Meanwhile, Oma, after focusing on her career and healing from the heartbreak, meets someone new. This time, she finds a love that feels right, a love built on trust and mutual respect. One day, out of the blue, Irene receives a call. It's Oma. "Hi, Irene," Oma says softly. "I've been thinking about everything. I know you never meant to hurt me, and I realize now that holding on to this pain isn't helping anyone. Life's too short to keep hating. Can we start over?" Tears stream down Irene's face as she replies, "I've been waiting for this call for so long. Thank you, Oma. I've missed you." The family organizes a reunion, where Oma meets Irene and David's young son for the first time. The sisters laugh and reminisce, finally letting go of the past. Oma's new partner joins them, and David, though initially hesitant, expresses gratitude for Oma's forgiveness. They share a toast to love, family, and second chances, proving that even the deepest wounds can heal with time and understanding. Lessons from this story. A man knows what he wants. David's immediate clarity about his feelings for Irene highlights the importance of decisiveness in relationships. Don't waste your time on someone who isn't decisive about you. True love often comes with challenges, and sometimes, the path to happiness isn't always straightforward. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It frees you from the weight of pain. Time and love can heal even the most broken relationships. True happiness comes when we let go of grudges and embrace second chances. But what do you think? Was Irene right to pursue a relationship with David, knowing he was Oma's boyfriend? Should Oma have forgiven Irene and David sooner, or was her anger and hurt justified? What role do you think the parents played in the sisters' relationship and the events that unfolded? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video with friends and family. Also click the subscribe button to subscribe to Everything Love and Heartbreak for more stories like this. See you in the next video.